Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. And in just a few minutes, Rich Savinski is going to be with us, as he is every Wednesday evening, talking about consultants in the workplace. And he always has some fantastic ideas of research and in the streets, in the trenches, examples of what's going on out there. I wanted to speak about this evening the subject of testing, psychological testing, aptitude testing, any kind of testing that's used when you go to look for a job. It's one of the biggest bugaboos that has been out there since I got into this business in 1973. I did a lot of studying of testing in graduate school and still keep up with it quite a bit. But you may very well, as a candidate, be asked to take tests, psychological tests, physical tests, all kinds of tests. And you're not going to get a company to quit giving them because you don't want to do them. Most companies are going to tell you that they don't amount to anything, maybe 25% of the decision. Don't believe it. They wouldn't be giving it to you if it didn't amount to part of the decision. The best thing to do is to just take them in stride. The last thing you want to do is to say, oh my goodness, I hate tests. I can't take this. I've had more than one or two candidates over the years refuse to take them. Just not going to do it. They don't amount to anything in the candidate's opinion. They didn't mean anything to the decision, and on. And that isn't going to do you one bit of good. If the company invested a whole lot of money in the testing, they're going to use the testing, whether you like it or not. I've seen psychologists. I've even had a number of psychiatrists test people along the way over the years, all kinds of written tests, computerized tests, any kind of test you can possibly imagine. And the value of these things, or the use of these things, ebbs and flows with the economy. When companies have money, they don't mind spending a little money on testing. When they don't have money, it's one of the things they get rid of. So yeah, it is very mercurial, and there's no doubt about that. But if you get told you're going to have to take a test, whatever you do, don't gripe or moan or grump about it. Don't say things like, I'm lousy at tests, I don't take tests, I don't want to take a test, I can't do very well at test. Don't do that. Just take it in stride and assume that you're going to do the best you can with it, and whatever the results are the results. And there's not much you can do about it. Having a lousy, rotten attitude towards it isn't going to help you do well on it. Make sure you're rested before you take the tests. Make sure you're not nervous, well-fed, relaxed, and just go into the tests as best you can and do whatever you can. Just don't complain about it. I've had some candidates get eliminated because they did complain about it a lot. And the company felt like it was one of the things that has to be done, so therefore it has to be done. Make sure you're rested and you feel good, and go in and do the best you can. Having a good attitude towards it is going to make all the difference in the world, and just do the best you can with it. Don't make editorial comments about, I did lousy on the tests, or I do lousy on those things, or anything like that. It will not endear you to the situation at all. You've got to be up, and you've got to be smart about it. Like I said, be well rested and take it in stride. There are going to be all kinds of tests that you might be faced with. Some are going to be more difficult than others. Whatever you do, just don't worry about it, But on the other hand, don't be flippant about it either. Don't say to somebody, well, these don't mean anything anyhow. I can't believe you still do them, or things like that. You don't do it. They do it because they paid for it. They've invested in it, and it's part of their process. So you've got to be on your guard and be ready to take it and be ready to do it and do it right. It's not hard to do. You just sit down and do them and do the best you can. If it eliminates you, it eliminates you. You're not going to know anyhow, because nobody's going to tell you whether it eliminates you or not. They're just going to not hire you if the tests do end up eliminating you. They do eliminate people probably about 25% of the time. I've had many intelligence tests eliminate people, and they will tell me that. They won't tell the candidate that. There's nothing you can do about it if you get eliminated that way. Just take them in stride, do the best you can, hope for the best, and some people are better at taking them than others. Don't worry about it, but it doesn't do any good to complain. I had a situation one time where the company was hiring a CEO, and they forgot to give her the test. And about a year into the thing, she was rocking and rolling and doing a phenomenal job. And he remembered, oh my goodness, she didn't take the test. So they gave her the test. She did a miserable job on it. She did a terrible job on it. She grew the company 131%. They sold the company for an immense amount of money. And I guess it didn't necessarily make a lot of sense then. Oh, well, that's the paradox of testing. At any rate, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashar with the Job Search Solution.